Hey guys, you're watching Fitness Regiment, and today I'll be reviewing the Ninja, what is it called? Ninja Pro Duo, or something of the sort. I always get the name wrong. So first of all, I want to thank Ninja for the blender. It's an excellent blender, and I honestly love it. It's one of the only blenders that I've used that can really sufficiently crush ice with ease. But it does have a few downsides depending on who you are, and it is definitely not super cheap, but it is also not even close to expensive. So let's just start with a quick pros and cons list. One of the pros that you might not expect, and it's probably not so important to most of you, but I liked anyway, was the fact that it was extremely well packaged. If you see my unboxing video, which is linked down below, you'll see me basically unboxing it. And I thought it was brilliantly packaged. Everything slid out beautifully, everything fit together well, and everything was just safely packaged. Anyway, so one of the upsides of this blender is, of course, it comes with multiple attachments. So one of the attachments is this huge, what do you call it? This huge container that can contain 2 liters of liquid. So that's more than enough to make shakes for 3 or even 4 people if they're smaller shakes, like glasses, like maybe 4 or 5 glasses. So it's extremely big. It can crush ice very easily because of the way the blades are placed in a vertical fashion. Then there's the smaller one, which is more aimed at smoothies for 1 or 2 people. I think it contains up to around 800 milliliters. I'll double check that for you in a bit. And both of them work really well. The blender is extremely stable. It's really easy to use. There's a lot of settings, pulse settings, high, medium, low, obviously, and the Ninja IQ thingies, which I have not used because I don't quite understand them yet, but I'll use them in an upcoming video. Anyway, so there's a lot of settings. It's quite easy. It's plug and play. It all clicks together very well, so it's safe to use. You don't need to hold anything. All the lid clicks into place, and you can't turn it on unless everything is firmly in place. So there's not going to be any accidents where you're going to end up with smoothie all over your house. Other than that, it's very easy to clean. I haven't found any spots that are too hard to reach. I make a lot of shakes with peanut butter, which is generally the hardest to clean, and also protein powder, which likes to stick to everything if it doesn't get blended properly. But I haven't had any of those problems after using it for I've used it about 10 times now, maybe a little bit more, and I've not yet had any problems. I just use a normal sponge. It takes a couple of minutes to clean, and that's about it. It's a very safe blender, and that's about it for the pros. Now, in terms of cons, there's a couple. First of all, it's quite big and heavy. I mean, you can see the size anyway on the website under the specifications. So if you're a student and you're going to be moving it around a lot, I suggest maybe looking into the smaller version, which is only made for smoothies rather than Duo, because it's a lot bigger. The base is quite heavy. The motor base is quite heavy, but that also helps it keep in place so it doesn't move around while it's blending. So that could be a con or a pro for you. It depends how much you're going to be moving the blender. It is loud. I live in a studio apartment, and my kitchen is basically a tiny room. It's between 4 walls. And so when I turn the blender on, I basically just go deaf for about a minute. It is quite loud in a tiny apartment. So if you're going to be using it while your family's asleep, or if noise is a problem for you, I'd make sure to look at further down in this review video, and you'll see it being used, because it is definitely not quiet, but it's designed to crush ice, and it's 1500 watts, so you can't really expect it to be quiet. So that could be a con if you need it to operate in a quiet environment. If you don't, then I don't really mind it. Okay, so anyway, that's about it. You can see it being used, and I put in a quick little recipe for you guys. I mean, this is very basic, and I've just been using it because I love it, and I use it for protein shakes. So basically all you do is you get a little bit of coconut milk. So let's say 300 milliliters of coconut milk. You get a spoon of peanut butter, you get some ice cubes, 1 scoop of protein powder, a little bit of cocoa, and then you just blend that, and it tastes amazing, and it's extremely healthy. I don't really have any more recipes right now, but I'm sure I'll update with more recipe videos if I get more creative down the line. So in terms of review, I think that pretty much covers everything. The conclusion of the video is that this blender is definitely aimed at families because you can make multiple shakes per blend. So it's definitely not aimed at let's say one student living in halls or something. It's most likely aimed at it's aimed at people who are going to be making multiple shakes at the same time in the morning, let's say, when no one is too asleep and when noise is not really too much of an issue. The price range, it's about £150, but you can get it on sale for about £120 or £130 most of the time. So it's definitely not cheap, but it will last you. The plastic is very good quality. I haven't found any parts that are easy to break or mess up in any way. So compared to, let's say, the 20 or 30 pound blenders that I found on Amazon, this is obviously of much better quality. So it's your choice if you want to just get a cheap blender and then every few months replace it if it breaks or it leaks or has any issue. Because I've read some very strange issues of cheaper blenders, so I try to stay away from them. And I think this is probably the cheapest blender you're gonna get that can like crush ice with relative ease without damaging anything. I mean, my ice tray is extremely cold because I have this terrible mini fridge where I live right now, and it is like minus 25 or something, and there's no way to change it. Literally, if I touch the ice cubes, my fingers burn because it's so cold. And it manages to crush those ice cubes, which are basically like rocks, with no issue. So I definitely love this blender because that's exactly the type of blender that I personally need. So if a lot of your recipes are going to have ice in them, or if a lot of your recipes are going to require you to cook for a lot of people, or if you're looking for a blender that's going to last you a long, long time, this is definitely the blender for you. If you're a student though, and you just need a quick blender and you're worried about problems about waking up flatmates, or waking up your family because you like to make shakes very early in the morning, this might not be for you. But generally, I think this hits the mark in most markets. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.